I'm unfamiliar with any sort of long-distance communication magic, even among the documentation we have on grey mages.
Are you sure you didn't imagine it? You were pretty drunk.
That's true, but it would have been a wild imagination. Of course.
I'm always pretty, drunk or not. But I'm sure.
That was a good answer, Ash. Ash smirked.
When I had left her, she was coherent enough that she should be able to distinguish the lines between reality and otherwise.
There you go. Hector is standing up from us.
When I asked you about this, Hector, I didn't mean for you to wake up Prude, and I certainly didn't intend for us to hold a meeting about it.
So we know that spells which affect an individual in a pair will often affect the other half of the pair, to a lesser degree. This effectively affects both, one far less than a full power spell, and the other only slightly less. Do you follow?
So if we cast a spell, it would affect our partner. So if she was casting a spell, so it would affect us. Does that mean that we would be tied in?
Sure.
I suspect that Ash's partner was under the effect of some sort of communicative magic. This would, unfortunately, provide credibility to the Grey Mage theory. Neither Necromancers nor Paladins have developed a means of long-distance communication, save for vague impressions through a pairing bond. Unfortunately, we really have no clear understanding of grey magic.
What's so special about grey magic? What is it?
See, this is what I wanted to know. I wanted to know more about grey mages.
You never learned about the cult of grey mages?
No, we're not from this universe, Ash.
They're an order of assassins? We never really studied their actual magics, though. What's so significant about them?
They are either necromancers or paladins who have chosen to kill and remove various organs from their pairing partner, and implant them inside their own bodies.
What? Who've chosen to kill and remove various organs from their pairing partner. Why would you do that?
This grants them the ability to draw upon both wells of power, light and shadow.
But why would you not just stay in a pair?
They use these combined powers to sustain their unnatural life and animate the organs that would have otherwise died.
Why would someone do something like that?
Before now, I was unsure. It seemed clearly a better decision to have two fully established mages drawing upon each well and combining efforts. But if they have communication, then apparently they are able to develop magics we cannot even begin to fathom. I mean that quite literally. I have no idea how a communication spell might work. I ask that you prevent me from pursuing it because I am quite convinced that walking that path would only lead to madness.
Could we ask the heads?
Have you considered asking the heads?
Because, like, I feel like they would know.
They are skilled, but they would not know.
Sure, heck. We can help with keeping you sane. Besides, aren't you busy with the whole Phoenix Mark thing?
That was, like, totally irrelevant to what we were saying, Prude.
Goddess protect me, you're right. I have to go.
Ugh, you didn't sleep again. You haven't even changed from your wet clothes.
I'm fine.
Go change.
I need to.
Prudence swung at Hector so suddenly neither he nor Ash had even time to flinch. Even after the blow, Hector did not flinch. He merely stood, his cheek visibly swelling as time passed.
I will go shower and change, but I don't need to sleep yet.
He turned to Prudence with wide eyes.
Why don't you want me to research anymore?
I can help. We're paired now. You have to start learning to rely on others. Particularly me.
We can help.
Prudence shot Ash a glance that could have asked more questions than words alone could have.
I'm okay, all things considered. Somehow a little rejection seems small compared to being paired to a grey mage.
Yes, it wouldn't be fun to end up as the third heart. It would be quite crowded.
We're also going to work on your tact.
Oh, that would be nice. I need more of that.
Okay. The next day, the trio assembled at the door of the heads. Ash made an effort to place Prude between her and Hector. The man smiled with a familiarity that made her resentment rile in her stomach like an angry serpent.
Now we have all agreed. Ash does the talking.
Still don't understand why. I know more about it.
You also enjoy the taste of your own foot.
Hector blinked.
No, I don't.
Prude didn't even bother correcting him, instead opening the doors. Luciana was at her desk, clearly still at work. Zachariah leaned on the same desk, idle and unbusied. She turned to meet Ash's gaze.
Good morning, Head Zachariah, Head Luciana.
Ash?
Luciana did not turn up from her work. Apparently, she was preoccupied. Odd that given the meeting had been scheduled the day before.
Eyes over here, Miss Ashmar. You want special treatment? You convince me.
Luciana looked up for a moment from her work.
I will be listening, but I will trust my wife in this.
Zachariah smiled.
Of course, Mistress Heads.
Ash shot a quick glance to Hector, making sure he made no moves to speak.
We need your permission to conduct experiments.
Of course. You're welcome to perform your own experiments. You have been conducting exercises related to manipulation of plant matter, correct? A fascinating concept, given that standard magics, regardless of the circuit construction, have no effect on anything other than a true animal. Luciana conducted experiments on creating wood golems once. Ultimately, she chose steel for her primary golem.
Zachariah gestured to a suit of armor mounted in the office. Ash was a bit taken aback to hear so much from Zachariah. She had never before been so open with Ash. In fact, to the best of her knowledge, she had never been so open with any student. It suddenly occurred to her Ash was no longer a student.
I'm afraid it's not so simple, Head Zachariah.
Hector explained his exact needs to her only minutes ago. He would need 2 students, both unpaired. Wait. Such a request could only be reasonably granted. There was precedent. Hector had thought before giving him a pair of students would be no great matter regardless of Zachariah's disdain for the man. The issue was the experiment itself, replicating the pairing ritual. Pairing outside of an organised and sanctioned pairing ritual was forbidden. Ash did not know why, like simply an ancient taboo, but regardless it was unlikely they would give permission to Hector again. Let's explain the importance of the experiment. Ash took in a long, deep breath. She knew what to say, she just hoped she could maintain her composure as she spoke the words. A lump stuck in her throat.
I need to know who I am paired to.
Zachariah looked her up and down. The bemused look on her had only just fell and there was empathy in her eyes.
I'll tell you now. I do not think this is the solution. There are many more paths we can walk to decipher the mystery of your mark.
I agree with you.
Zachariah seemed surprised.
But that is no reason to dismiss any particular one of them.
Zachariah nodded slowly.
A simple and elegant argument. Any continued protest on my part would betray my prejudice.
Zachariah smiled.
Well maneuvered, girl. It's clear that Princess Celeste will find much use for a mind like yours once she ascends her throne. Goddess knows her mother could use more of such logic.
Ash cocked an eyebrow at the comment. Luciana offered 2 sheet stickers who preferred them to Ash.
Hector will receive 2 students. Remedial students, to be precise. He is tasked with training them to the point where they might advance. As long as his tutelage takes and they improve, he may perform any experiment he wishes.
Ash paused, feigning examination of the papers.
You had already planned to permit us to conduct this experiment.
Zachariah tapped her head.
Just as I said, you've got a strong mind. If nothing else, it's providing the poison with which Hector might stain himself.
With a bow, Ash made to retreat. Zachariah turned to Luciana, giving her a warm smile as she watched her work. The door clicked behind them. Oh, so we got 2 new students, 2 new characters. Yes, let's do this. They ate after the meeting, enjoying a late breakfast into the mostly empty dining hall. Hector inhaled a meal twice the size of either of the girls and he was gone. Ash and Prude ate in silence after he left. Ash wanted to talk, but did not know what to say. Should she apologize? Try to explain away her behaviour from before? Should she just try to make conversation, hoping that if they both masqueraded normalcy long enough that such a mask would become their true face? Or should she dare risking it all again and try to seduce Prude once more? Let's not seduce her, because I feel like it's going to turn out bad. Let's apologise. Ash sucked in a long, deep breath.
Prude, I just want to...
Oh.
Ash, I'm sorry.
Huh?
I look back now and realize how blind I've been. Ugh, light and shadows. Ash, I look back and realize that you've liked me for years. Longer than I even had interest in boys. Every single sign was there, right in my face. They've always been there.
Why does that keep doing that?
Ugh, they've been there so long. I didn't even realize they were there.
Prude cradled her head in her hands.
Prude, no.
Prude, yes! Prude should have noticed that her friend had feelings for her. Goddess, If I had known earlier, perhaps I could have handled it better. I wouldn't have let it build to a...
Such a crescendo?
Oh, yeah, good word.
The two sat in silence for a moment before Ash took another spoonful of her oatmeal.
So, what do you want to do for now?
I don't know. I really don't know, Ash.
She looked up, smiling slightly.
For now, let's try to solve the mystery with your mark. Maybe we'll work out something naturally.
Ash smiled back, the smile only a mask, tears hidden behind it.
Of course.
Okay. It was the Paladin that saw the two girls approach. Oh, he's cute!
Hello there,
Oh, he's got a good accent.
Master Celeste, Master Ashma.
Ashma? He locked his fist over his heart and gave a curt bow. The Necromancer with him watched the man and then attempted to replicate the gesture. It was the girl in blue from before, the one that had been training. Ash felt a small twinge of sadness as the odd girl in yellow was not there as well.
Who are these, Heck?
That is Elfnod, and she is Belinda. Elfnod is actually several years behind us, but he was recruited at a very old age comparatively. Belinda is in a class below you.
It's a pleasure, Master Ashma.
Please, just Ash.
Yes, Master Ash.
The man smirked and Ash narrowed her eyes at him.
So, I'm not entirely sure where to start. I am leaning towards simply performing the ritual and seeing where I need to go from there.
Are you crazy?
No.
No? Just no? Light and shadows, are you an idiot?
Oi! If you didn't want to be here, you did not have to. You're a volunteer, right?
Not if I want to repeat a year.
What? You're making her repeat a year if she doesn't help?
Prude shot Heck with a withering glare.
More that she proved herself completely incapable of performing a ritual spell, and as such the heads found her unsafe to advance to her final year. I had nothing to do with that. However, as was discussed, this experiment is essentially special tutelage that may provide her with a means to advance, as this is a ritual study.
Don't over-exaggerate what they told you.
I was offered the same opportunity to tutor students when I first became a teacher, so they will permiss it if I can demonstrate she has acquired the requisite skill.
And what about Elfnod? He's not even in the point in his training where he would have begun performing rituals.
Do not concern yourself with my abilities, Master Ash. I pick things up quickly.
What kind of an accent is that?
I'm not from your country. I'm from a, very distant land.
I understand that much. Where are you from?
I'm afraid you'd be as likely to believe my story as where your head's.
Okay.
Introductions aside, let's begin.
The pair looked at each other.
I do not mean to question your judgment, Master Warlock, but doesn't the ritual need more than 2 people?
No. Go ahead now if you would.
I don't actually know the words.
The words aren't actually important.
They aren't?
Oh yeah, he explained this to me yesterday. The words are just supposed to be a way of getting everyone to be focusing on the same thing. The spell itself is actually gibberish.
Ash felt embarrassed not knowing this. She couldn't help but wonder how many graduates failed to know the secret. Shrugging, Elfnod dipped his head and raised his hand. Shimmering light began to pour from him.
Excellent. Your abilities are far advanced for the time you spent here, old man. Now, go ahead, Belinda.
In silence, Belinda raised her hand. A few minutes passed and nothing happened. As more time passed, Hector looked around anxiously. With his exasperate side, Belinda dropped her hand and shot Hector a dark look.
And now, you know why I've been held back.
Wow, you are indeed terrible.
Ah!
Belinda roared and stormed away. It was a familiar sight.
All right. That's okay. That was a very productive first day.
Was it?
No.
Ash nearly clutched her chest as her heart ached. The pair was already so in sync they were setting up and finishing each other's terrible jokes. She was jealous. Didn't have to think that her potential partner was quite literally a monster. She supposed she and Prude might still have that in common.
Hey, you okay, Ash?
Yeah, sorry. Just got lost in thought.
I'm glad I'm not the only one who does that. We're in the garden on the eastern side of the mountain.
Thank you, Heck.
You're welcome.
He literally just told us where we were.
Do you want us to chase down Belinda?
No, I cannot force her to participate, and pushing now may only push her away.
Do you still need me then?
No, you're free for the day, Grandpa. Thank you.
Why does he keep calling him that?
Huh. I guess we have the rest of the day free too.
Goddess, I can't remember a time I did not have studies occupying my time. What are we going to do with ourselves?
Oh, we could do what I did and simply continue our studies.
Yes, but you're a little bit, crazy.
Subtly suggesting another idea. Yeah, we're not going to insult him.
Oh, but we've done so much of that recently. Perhaps something else?
Maybe.
Oh, don't worry, Heck. We've got plenty we can do.
Hector smiled and Prude returned the smile with an impressive warmth. Ash failed to suppress a gag.
Are you sure you're okay? You've been through a lot. You sound a little sick.
Please, can we not have that discussion?
This is simply tragic. Given all the business we had to deal with recently, it never even occurred to me that being forced to stay at the mountain could be so cruelly boring.
I still suggest studying.
What, do you want to try to figure out how the communication spell worked?
Hector's eye began to twitch.
No, not especially.
His eye twitched again.
Surely there's something that explains me hearing those voices.
Oh, aye, but I don't think there's anything that the local magic can do like that. Probably a witch or wizard. Some other sort of caster.
Caster? Do you know something about communication magic?
Tell me more, now.
Where are you from?
Evan looked at Heck, who nodded.
Well, as my tutor already knows, a flying island.
Yeah, that would explain why the heads didn't believe you.
Shush, Prude. Please, Elfnod, tell us more.
And so he did. Elton had been born on a flying island, the son of its leader. There had been great expectations of him. Instead of meeting them, he found himself one of a rare breed among their clan. A null, an individual born without magic. Oh wow, so he has no magic? The shame weighed on him for years. The weight finally grew too much. One day when a close friend had died, lost to a fall off the side of the island, he chose the same fate, throwing himself over the edge. He had never expected to survive, let alone be found by the heads and informed of his ability. Ever since he had trained with a passion and diligence that would put most of other students to shame.
So what kind of magic was it then?
My fathers were witches.
My father's? So he has two dads.
Huh.
What's a witch?
It's an ancient term for a sort of female mage with vaguely defined powers. Curses, divination, that sort of thing. But those sort of powers were dismissed as we began to learn to better understand magic. To realize the limitations of shadow and light.
Unless there's more than just the shadow and the light.
Exactly.
Hector began to breathe heavily.
Oh, goddess. I think we got him a little too excited.
I told all of this to the heads, and they calmly assured me that what I thought had been magic was simply a trick. They didn't even bother trying to explain away the whole flying city thing.
What about your friend?
Having survived myself, I'd like to think he's alive, but I couldn't imagine where he would be.
How do you survive a fall from a flying island? Wasn't it only a little ways off the ground?
Snow, mostly, and, no.
Yes, but it's incredible. You need to
Hector made gibbering noises of excitement.
No, couldn't be
If there
possible.
were any way
Yes.
the island were low enough to be seen, we would know about it.
Is it?
Hells, we might have found a way to it by now. It would have to be
Okay,
very
alright.
high up,
Yes,
beyond our reach, for us to miss it.
Seems like it.
Sorry, Hector, but this isn't something we can hope to pursue.
If it wasn't
I
just...
wonder if a witch can participate in the pairing.
Hector is almost in tears.
You might want to check on your boyfriend. I think he's broken.
Prue was instantly stained crimson.
He's not. We're not like that. Or at least not yet.
Ash flinched. Yet?
Still, I think we should probably let him recover.
I must admit, it's nice to finally have people who believe me. Most think I am insane when I mention the island. Doesn't stop me from talking about it, though.
I have an amount of skepticism, but now we have to consider that the pairing might be directed skywards. I could be paired to a flying paladin or even a witch. It's a far more comforting thought than being paired to a grey mage.
Hey, maybe it's even a cute girl.
Prunes winked at Ash, and Ash felt her cheeks grow warm. She certainly made it hard to get over her.
So, I may know something that could entertain you.
What?
This seems dumb.
I used to often come out here to meditate.
Where did it occur to you to do something like this?
Falling off an island and down a mountain.
Still, this seems oddly immature for someone who's older than us.
You only expose yourself as immature if you think like that. One of the greatest pieces of wisdom I can give you, as a man in his later years, is that you should find happiness anywhere you can. And never let your happiness be taken away by the opinion of others.
True, true. With that, he threw down his shield and leapt atop it, standing as he rode it down the snow-covered slope.
I'm going.
Look at her, she's so cute. Wielding an enormous tower shield, Prude threw herself onto the snow and began to slide forward.
Oh, goddess, protect me.
Oh, look at them! Laying down her own shield and shifting her legs forward, Ash shifted her weight and felt that the shield began to slide forward. She turned to Prudence, whose eyes were as wide as her grin, as she slowly began to slide faster. That was when she reached the edge, a dip after which the descent became much steeper.
Light and shadows, protect me.
Snow exploded to her sides as she screamed down the side of the mountain, the shield sliding as easily as a slice of butter on a hot griddle. Looking over to smiling Prude, she felt herself grinning. Fear slowly began to subside, and as she approached the patch of green that marked the end of the snow line, Ash considered that she would be glad to do this again. A black green streak tore past her, passing the line of green and into the rocks beyond. She didn't even have the time to react. The shield seemed to get caught, splitting the flying Necromancer out into an image oddly reminiscent of thrown spaghetti. Ash dished her slowing shield on her feet and charging after the man. The mask of agony married his normal passive face, and for a moment Ash swore she could see his leg bent in a distinctly incoherent direction. Turning to Prude, Ash gaped.
Do you know how to heal?
No. I've only been paired for a few days. I haven't had time to practice.
What? I'm fine. I'm badly bruised, particularly in my pride, but I am a little more sturdy than that.
Turning in disbelief, Ash found Hector on his feet.
Also, I don't like being healed. You'd understand if you knew exactly how the magic worked. I think that's why I'm lucky to have been paired with a shielding specialist.
Thank the stars in heaven you're okay. That crash looked monstrous.
No, it's fine. I'm just not doing that again.
Aye, you were flying. How much do you weigh?
More than I care to admit. I think I'm going to go get a warm meal and perhaps read a book for my remaining activities today.
There's something weird about Hector. Can he not feel pain? Cause like the rain and stuff, he doesn't eat, he doesn't sleep.
I'll come with you. Do you need help walking?
No, I'm fine.
The two walked away, Hector hobbling only slightly, as one I expect from bruises following an awkward fall.
I can't believe he's walking. I saw things bending in ways they shouldn't have and in places they shouldn't bend at all. You don't just walk after that.
The man shook his head.
Must have imagined it worse, but he's still a tough one.
Yeah, tough.
Far in the back of her mind, Ash felt a small creeping dread whisper something she didn't quite catch, but it sent shivers down her spine. Or was that the snow that had gotten into her dress? But she concluded and wiggled, trying to free the snow before it melted. Oh, I bloomed. Alright guys, that's going to be it today. Thank you so much for watching. It's been a complete pleasure. Bye bye.